Victoria Doxat is a freelance copywriter specializing in thought leadership and executive communications. Her academic background in philosophy means she's naturally suited to creating thought leadership communications or business philosophy, and she ghostwrites. You're actually the second ghostwriter I've interviewed on this series.
Ah, okay.
I find this really interesting. She ghostwrites white papers, expert articles, LinkedIn articles, case studies, blog posts, and business books. Her
hmm
clients are CEOs, founders, visionaries, business leaders, senior executives, and entrepreneurs, and she regularly freelances for agencies, consultancies, and a leading publisher of business books. Victoria's worked with global brands on high profile campaigns and with renowned individuals. She's highly skilled in using tone of voice, and she has an incredibly strong publication record. Victoria and I,
God, makes me sound good.
I think you wrote that, but that's just
Yeah, that'll be why then.
you're like drinking your own Kool-Aid there,
I
Victoria.
know.
Um, I'm and also in case you didn't pick it up, this is a transatlantic interview. I'm talking to Victoria from I guess you live in the UK. In England, right?
Yeah, I'm about an hour away from London, so right in the south of the UK.
Excellent. Thanks for taking the time with me here this morning here, afternoon where you are. You spend an awful lot of time and effort helping leaders. Many people we know
Mhm.
actually shape their thoughts and ideas either through blog posts or books or whatever. Um, and you take a great deal of time and effort, again, applying your philosophy background, which is very interesting.
Mhm.
But how important is it, especially these days, how important is it for leaders to find their voice?
It's really important, isn't it? I think, social media, especially, we're living in a digital world. I think if you're not visible, if you're not telling people or teaching people about what you do and the problems that your industry experiences and how you can solve them, you are really missing a trick. I think nowadays, if you don't have an online presence, your business is going to fail, and your visibility, your personal authority is going to be diminished as a result of that. So it's really important to find your voice, and it's really important to publish stuff that is authentic and supports your brand identity and gives something to the conversation. Promotes a question or posits the response to a problem in a way that is engaging to your audience. So yeah, really important.
And when one of these people or their people come to you and say, Victoria, we need some help here, is there ever any pressure on you to just do it? You know what I mean? And they're like, no, I can't be caught up in the time and effort, blah blah blah. And what's your pushback to them on?
No, do you know what? I haven't really experienced that because I tend to work with individuals who are usually high profile anyway. They're very keen on doing it themselves. In fact, a lot of the time I'll submit a draft. It might even be a final draft, and it will come back where they've added in their own paragraph or they've taken something out that doesn't sound quite like them. So actually, I find they're more engaged.
Excellent.
When I work with agencies and I work with kind of big brands, it's a bit more hands off. You've got the brand specification, you've got the creative brief, you kind of stick to that. But when you work with individuals, it's much more personal.
Good.
So actually, I find people tend to be more involved and kind of more, they look at the minutiae more, which is good. That's what I like. It needs to be right and it needs to be authentic. So I like working with people who are fully engaged.
My next question is, how do you make your clients' perspectives stand out? I mean, from literally the oceans of other
Mhm.
viewpoints that are floating around out there in this like marketplace of ideas. What's your advice to them, or what approach do you take to make their perspectives stand out?
I mean, that's a really good question. So the people I work with are business leaders. They have lots of big ideas. And my job really is to talk to them initially to find out what their ideas are, and then to try to ascertain the one that's going to have the most impact. You don't want to put all of those ideas out of there. You want to kind of try and find the one thing that they're absolutely passionate about, the one thing that is consistent through all of the things that they're doing in their business, and then create content around that one single idea. It's much better than to just put everything out there because then you end up creating more chaos and more noise. And also, I tell my clients that actually it sounds counterintuitive, but a lot of people with thought leadership, they focus on the leadership. So they want to be seen as an authority and visible and big and bold, and and actually my focus is always on the thought. You the thought is what needs to come first. And so a lot of the time my clients need to reflect very carefully, and I help them to do that, to find out the core message that they want to deliver and how they're going to deliver that in a way that is appropriate to them and authentic to them and consistent and congruent with what they're already doing. Because anyone can jump up and say, I've got a great idea, but actually sometimes it's not that great, actually. And sometimes you've got to say, do you know what, that's not that original, but this is much more original to you. This is your unique vision. This is how it's impacted you personally. That's what we should go with. So actually, you stand out sometimes by reflecting and by thinking and by not being noisy. And after consideration, you can put something together that is unique to you. And that's what's then going to rise above the sea of chaos.
That's brilliant. Thank you. And my final question is a question I ask everybody, which is, Victoria, what lessons have we learned in this moment? Whether it's COVID or work from home or whatever, what lessons have we learned that we must not forget?
So I think the big thing that my clients probably knew this anyway, but a lot of small businesses realize that now you have to have an online presence. I've had a lot of smaller businesses come to me during COVID and they haven't got white papers, they haven't got case studies, they haven't got anything on their website, and their website's not really fit for purpose. And that's a problem for them now. That's going to be a problem, and it's going to take them a lot of time and money to fix that. So I think getting an online presence is really important. If you don't have that, you need one. From a kind of a personal point of view, I think we've really rethought our family and how it works. It's really nice us all being at home together, and it's nice having the kids. I tended to work kind of more 9 till 5 with the kids are at school, but now I find that I'm kind of dipping in and out, doing 2 hours here, doing 2 hours there, and it kind of keeps me fresh. So I've kind of found a new way of working, which it was not something that I thought I would adjust to very well, but actually I quite like that kind of dipping in and out and having different projects on the go. So that's something that I've taken from it. And I think mainly for everyone, it's the community, isn't it? I think it's this idea that actually we're not on our own. We're all going through this together. We're all experiencing it, in similar ways, really. We're all having to go out and wear masks or, social distance and everything, which is completely new and very difficult, actually. And I think through that, we've realised that actually we're not on our own. There is a community there. There are people that we can reach out to. It is a time to collaborate and to talk and to connect as much as it is to kind of reflect.
That's great. And we actually met through Peter Winnick's group of thought leaders, which is just an amazing group of people.
I mean, I think we said, didn't we, in the group, that actually, because everything is so different now, there's no risk involved in reaching out to people and in asking to collaborate or offering to collaborate, or there doesn't seem to be that hesitation now about saying, do you know what, can I join your group?
Exactly.
I really like the sound of what you're talking about. Whereas I think before maybe there was this hesitation, and I just think everything's been thrown out now and everyone's in the same boat. And Peter and Bill's group is brilliant. It's really interesting to talk to other people about things that I find interesting, because I think thought leadership can be a little bit lonely sometimes. It doesn't seem like, there's a lot of stuff going on with it, but I think there is now, which is good.
Thank you so much for taking the time on your afternoon, my morning. I look forward to future conversations and seeing you in the group.
Lovely. Thank you, Dave. Thanks for having me on.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.